Spring 1984 marked a pivotal moment in American political history, particularly for women's advancement in public office. This photograph, taken at a Women's Political Foundation fundraiser, captures both established power and emerging cultural forces against the backdrop of President Reagan's reelection campaign and growing Republican dominance. The gathering took place at the home of Joan and Maurice Toebin, renowned Democratic fundraisers whose residence had become a crucial nexus for progressive politics in Washington. Joan Toebin's talent for weaving together entertainment, politics, and social causes made their home a vital space for building political alliances. The image shows several influential women watching a breakdancing demonstration, a scene that perfectly encapsulates the era's cultural transitions. Among them, Claudine Schneider, then 37 years old, one of only 24 women in Congress, and among its few Republican moderates, known for challenging her party's environmental positions. Nancy Kulp, at 63, famous as Miss Jane Hathaway from the Beverly Hillbillies, was then running as a Democrat for Pennsylvania's 9th Congressional District. She would later pass away from cancer in 1991. Madeleine Kunin, 50 at the time, was poised to make history as Vermont's first female governor. The political context was charged. President Reagan's administration had sparked intense debate over women's rights, with particular tension around the Equal Rights Amendment's recent defeat and challenges to Roe v. Wade. The Democratic-controlled House, under Speaker Tip O'Neill, was battling Reagan's domestic cuts, while House Women's Caucus members like Barbara Mikulski fought for gender equality in social programs. In the Senate, Majority Leader Howard Baker was managing an increasingly conservative Republican majority. Women's issues were front and center. Workplace discrimination, family leave policies, and reproductive rights dominated political discourse. The upcoming Democratic convention would make history by nominating Geraldine Ferraro for vice president, though the Reagan-Bush ticket would ultimately triumph in November. The breakdancing demonstration at this fundraiser reflected the mainstreaming of hip-hop culture, with breaking crews having recently performed at venues like the Kennedy Center and soon to appear at the Los Angeles Olympics. Films like Breakin' and Beat Street were bringing street culture into Middle America that same year. The attendees' attire, conservative blazers, bow-neck blouses, and below-knee hemlines contrast tellingly with what must have been dynamic breaking moves. It's a visual metaphor for the era's colliding cultural forces, established political power engaging with emergent urban expression. Through the Women's Political Foundation, these leaders were building networks crucial for advancing women's representation in government. Despite the challenges of the Reagan era, they were creating pathways for future generations of women in politics. The foundation's work was especially vital given that women comprised only 4% of Congress in 1984. This image freezes a moment of transition. Women claiming political power, street culture entering mainstream consciousness, and American society navigating profound social change. The Toebin's backyard became a space where traditional power structures met emerging cultural forces, all against the backdrop of an election year that would both cement Reagan's conservative revolution and witness historic advances for women in national politics. The photograph stands as a document of these intersecting currents in American political life, a reminder of how far women's political representation had come by 1984 and how far it still had to go.